put them in the chat. I'll be watching the chat, and then when I'm presenting, Gail will be watching the chat and we'll answer all the questions.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on this icky rainy evening. I hope everybody's staying dry. So let's get started. I'm Gail Harris. I'm Product Program Specialist. Rebecca was just talking to us. That's our Product Program Manager. And Latoya is with us as well. Latoya is also a Product Program Specialist, and she works a lot on our cookie booths and our VIP, what's the right word for that? Our VIP patches. So just a quick, our agenda for tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about planned orders, money matters, cookie booths, some booth resources, and then your next steps and a little time at the end for questions. If you do have questions while we're talking, post them in the chat, but try and keep them to the subject that we're talking about, just so that we can stay on track a little bit. We want to let everybody go as quickly as possible, but also cover everything. So planned orders for 2024. Our planned orders are open in Smart Cookies now. All planned orders must be entered into Smart Cookies by Monday at 10 a.m. for that particular week. And I'll show you the dates in a minute. Our Toasties and our Adventurefuls are limited quantities. So hopefully a lot of you got initial orders and have some of them already, but we do have more, but they may run out before the end of the sale. So we'll keep an eye on that and let everybody know. Each truck and warehouse location will run once per week, and they start January 18th. So if you need cookies for that first week of pickups, you'll need to place that order in Smart Cookies by Monday, the 15th at 10 a.m. So next Monday. These are all the different locations that we offer for planned orders. And you can see the locations and the days of the week. You can pick up from any one of these. You can choose the one closest to your home, closest to work, whatever works for you, whatever schedule, you pick a location and then see what day it is. And you'll pick a time when we'll show you what it looks like in Smart Cookies. So how do you place a planned order? This is what a dashboard looks like. So when you're in Smart Cookies, you're going to go up here. You can see the red arrow circled around orders. You're going to click on orders. And sorry, this one came out blurry, but there'll be a little drop down and you're going to scoot down and select planned orders. And you can see where that's highlighted in blue. So once you click on there, you're going to follow these steps. You'll choose your pickup location. And that's one of those locations that we just were talking about. You'll pick a date. So if you're doing it next week, on Monday, you're in the system, or you can do it before Monday. Go in the system and you'll pick, let's say it's Thursday of that week, the location that you're going to. You'll make sure that you pick that date. It'll give you a list of times. And then you'll click save. You'll scroll to the bottom of the page and you'll pick out the quantities of cookies of each variety of cookie that you are ordering. And remember, all of those orders are being placed in case quantities. Each case holds 12 packages of cookies. Once you finish that and you save it, you can always review your order by going back to that orders tab that we looked at over here. And then you can, the very top one in the blurriness there, you can read is manage orders. When you do that, you can go in, you can scroll to the right and you'll be able to open up your order and take a look at it.
And Gail, I just wanted to add that when you see a time, so the trucks are maxed out at however many cases they can hold, which is usually around 2,000 or 2,200. So each time frame is an hour. So you might have looked on the calendar and it says, oh, the truck 6 will be there from 3 to 6 p.m. But when you go to place an order, 3 to 4, that time slot won't be there. That's because that time slot has maxed out. So you can select another time slot to keep going and keep placing your order. You can still go there earlier if you want to. You might be waiting in line because all the people who ordered for 3 to 4 will be there. But just know that, if the time slot's missing, it's because that time slot sold out. So you just have to select another time slot.
I see someone is asking about the purpose of placing a planned order. So there's many different reasons, but some troops will place a very big initial order that they feel is enough, and that will get them through the whole sale. some troops start with some cookies, and then each week, based on maybe the orders that the girls are getting or how many cookie booths they have coming up, they'll order additional cookies each week or every couple of weeks and get through the sale that way. Not everybody has space to store all the cookies or wants to
Yeah.
have them up front.
Yeah, and it's just a reorder. We call them, it's called planned orders in the system, but it's like a reorder. You know, if you have girls like now with this digital cookie, they can be collecting girl delivered orders. So say you have a girl who's just going crazy. She has a ton of customers. She's getting all of these orders. Well, you might not have those cookies anymore. So you can add them all up and then place a planned order for a restock. You can also decide you want to do more booths, you know, and then in that case, maybe your booths were really successful and you sold out of all those cookies and you need more for a booth. So that most troops will, again, they use them for their booth cookies every weekend and then any additional cookies that they might need to fulfill orders.
Right.
But you don't have to place a planned order if you
No.
don't need the cookies.
And
The
go ahead.
planned order, sorry, so just
Okay.
answering the questions as they come in. The planned orders are similar to a cookie drop. They are at a truck, except for the Sinclair warehouse and Atlantic warehouse. The rest of them are trucks. So you essentially pull up, there's usually a line starting, but you pull up like parallel to the truck, you give them your troop number. There's no staff there. It's usually only the delivery agents. It's 2 or 3 guys. And you give them your troop number, they'll look on the order form because they get the orders that are in Smart Cookies, and then they pull exactly what's on that order. So you can't make any changes. If something happens and you're like, oh wait, I don't need all these cookies, then you either pick up the full order or you don't pick them up at all. If you don't pick them up at all, when we get the reports back the next day or the day after, that order will be deleted from your inventory. But you basically just, so you might, you know, depending on when you go, usually the beginning is very, very busy. People always call and complain. They say, you know what, we got there at 2, we waited in line for an hour, and then when this truck started at 3, we waited in another hour. Well, you chose to go there an hour early, so you're adding an hour of wait time in the winter on you. So we don't recommend that you do that. But most of the trucks, they're in the evenings, they're 3 to 6, you know, 3 to 8 or something like that. If you wait until a little bit later, I lived by truck 6 in Lawrence the past 15 years. I always drove by that truck at least 9 times out of 10 between 5 and 6, and there was never ever a line. So most of the trucks, the lines are in the very beginning because everyone says, "Oh, I'm going to get my kids and go and wait." Well, now you're adding on the wait time. So I always tell people wait and go later, and then you're going to pull right up, get your order, and go. So it's hit or miss, but the first 3 weeks are always very busy. So definitely plan for longer waits, and then usually after that, the lines are much shorter. But yep, so you just pull up, they'll pull the cookies off the truck, you count them, and then you load them up. Planned orders only go until the last week of February to the 23rd. So that one final week, we don't do any planned orders. So you do have until the week of, you have to put that last order in by 10 a.m. on the 19th. And then the last pickups are on the 22nd and 23rd. Yep. So yeah, you can collect orders. You want to the planned orders cut off at 10 a.m. on Monday. So it's up to you. You know, if you want to give your parents and say, hey, I need to know by Sunday night, then you can go in Sunday night or Monday morning. You'll also know by then how many cookies you sold from your booths. That's usually what happens. Troops see how much they sold from their booths and what they need to reorder. And then you just want to make sure you get it in before 10 a.m. on Monday. Okay. Caught up, Gail.
Okay, very good. No, thank you. I think we're good. So we're moving on to money matters.
This
Rebecca's
is
gonna
me.
pick up here for a little bit.
Okay. Is this one me now?
Yes.
Okay. So you have your cookies and you're giving them out to your girls, or you're having, you know, you're at your booth sales now. So it's really important at this stage to be really making sure you're following some money tips and collecting money. You should have gotten receipt books, and we'll talk about receipt books in another slide, but you want to make sure you're providing a receipt for your parents anytime you give them cookies, you get cookies back, or you collect money. So it's a little tiny receipt book, but you know it's by variety. and the parent has to sign. Only adults should be signing, no Girl Scouts. No little girl should come to a meeting and say, "Oh, my mom needs 15 lemonades," and you send them home with the Girl Scout. Like, no, you always want to make sure you're filling out a receipt and an adult is signing for the receipt, because if there's a money collection issue, then it's going to come back to these signed receipts. You should plan to collect money from your troops at least once a week. Every troop does things differently. If it's every 2 weeks, that's fine. Whatever schedule works best for you. But, obviously, the larger the troop and the more girls and the more cookies going out, you really want to make sure you're collecting money on a decent schedule. Um, New for 2024, no family should owe more than $300 at any point during the cookie sale. So that's really important because we are a direct sale. So our CEO, our board, we choose to run this as a direct sale, meaning that the troops get cookies up front and then they can go sell the cookies and then turn money into their troops. So $300 is 50 packages because we sell our cookies at $6 a box. So we're letting each troop know that they can give each girl or family 50 packages of cookies up front without asking for money. So as long as you've collected a signed permission slip, you have signed receipts that you gave this family the cookies. You also have like an email chain or a text chain that you tried to collect the money and that they did not pay you. We will always protect the troop up to $300 per family. So just say, for an example, you give 50 packages out to a Girl Scout and she never shows up again. Or maybe she comes to a few meetings and the mom always says, "Oh, we didn't sell them yet. We'll give you money soon." And she never gives you money. She doesn't respond to texts anymore. She has an excuse when you text her. But if you had the mom sign the girl permission slip, or dad or caregiver, whoever their caregiver is, if you have the signed receipt that showed that that family signed for those 50 packages, and then you can email us, show us proof that you requested the money, we will deduct that $300 from your smart cookies. So we will not hold the troop financially responsible for those cookies. Issues come into play usually with the older troops who've been doing it a long time. They know the families. They give out 200 boxes of cookies, and now a family owes $1,000 and they never pay. So if they can show us proof, we will still give them the $300 credit, up to $300. But if you give out more than that, your troop is going to lose out on that money because your troop still has to pay. So you're essentially paying and losing your troop proceeds. So be very careful. Only give out up to 50 packages at a time. If you give out 50 packages and then 2 weeks later, a parent asks you like, "Hey, I need more Thin Mints. I sold all my Thin Mints." They should be able to pay you for the cookies that they've sold. If they need more cookies, they should be able to give you money for what they've already sold. So at any point, you can stop giving a parent cookies. You can say, "No, I can't give you any more until you pay for what you've given me." It's up to you to make sure that you're collecting the money before giving out tons and tons of cookies and now it gets out of hand. You also want to make sure that girls or parents don't put money in your mailbox, slip it under your door, bring it to a meeting, leave it on a porch. Those are things that, if a parent says to you, "Well, I left it, I did this, I gave it to her," and you never got it, you have no receipt to say that they gave it to you. So you can be financially responsible. If we have no receipt to say that that parent didn't give you money, we can't then hold that parent responsible to try to get that money from them. So you always want to make sure parents are giving you money directly and you're giving them a receipt. You want to count it immediately in front of them. Make sure, especially cash, make sure if they're saying, "Here's $200," and you just throw it in your purse and you count it later and it's only 180, well, now you have a problem because there's no way of saying, "Well, how do they know you didn't lose $20? How do you know they didn't give you $20?" So you always want to count it in front of them and write the receipt. Um, if you want to take a check, I know people ask about checks all the time. I recommend only taking a check from your actual Girl Scout parents, your families. So if they say, "Oh, wait, I collected a check from my neighbor," if a parent is collecting checks, they should be having it written out to them, because they might not see you for 2 weeks. So if they don't see you for 2 weeks, who knows if that check from that neighbor is going to bounce. So if a parent knows somebody and they're collecting orders and they want to accept a check from that person, they should be having it made payable to them or to cash. Let them get the cash and then they turn it into you. If you want to accept a check from a parent of a Girl Scout, that's fine because you know them. But also have to remember, if the check bounces, your troop's going to get hit with a fee. So we highly recommend to not accept checks from customers, because it just saves you that trouble. Now you have a fee if that customer's check bounced because it was a month old. And then you want to deposit money into your bank account right away. Don't hold on to it. We've had money stolen out of cars. We've had money stolen out of purses. Don't hold on to it. Try to deposit money as often as you can just to safeguard yourself from any issues, especially after boost sales, because you're going to have like a couple $100. Definitely get yourself in the habit of going to TD Bank or whatever your true bank account is and depositing that money right away. I'm just going to answer some questions because there's a lot that came in. So if a family has more than one girl in the troop, it's still 50 boxes per family. Yes. So if you have a girl with a family that has 2 daughters, it's still 50 packages maximum, because if you give them 100 packages, now that family owes you $600. So the rule that our council has is it's $300 per family. Um, Again, we talked about that money can be turned in from cash. Again, if you tell your parents, hey, if you're willing to collect checks from people, that's fine, but they should be made payable to that parent. Let the parent cash them and give you money. If you want to take like one cash, so say the one mom owes $500 and she says, hey, can I just give you a $500 check? Yes, but just make sure you're depositing that from that mom as soon as possible because you don't want to run into any bounce check issues. Yeah, so receipt books are signed for any cookies you give out. Initial cookies, restock cookies. If they give you cookies back because they can't sell them, you want a receipt book for that. They should all be signed. Anytime you give cookies, get cookies back or give money, collect money, you should be giving them a receipt. Okay.
think we're
How
good.
does repayment work when some people pay with a credit card? How much do you know how much cash they need to turn in? So so again, you should not be asking parents to pay for cookies. So if you give out 50 packages worth of cookies, all the credit card orders are going to automatically populate to Smart Cookies, which we'll show you later on. So you can see that girl, say girl A, you gave her 50 packages and you see she has 10 packages that were paid for by credit card. Well, you still need to collect 40 packages worth of money from that parent. So we'll show you the reports to see, but you'll see you can basically like deduct, the reports will kind of calculate based off the credit card payments that come in. Again, it doesn't matter if people pay for credit cards or cash. We pay for all credit card fees, so some people just say, hey, yeah, let's do it because then we don't have to worry about collecting cash. So it's totally up to the parents. Some customers don't want to use a credit card and they want to pay cash. It's really up to each family, each customer, however they want to do it. Where is the data on money owed found? Smart Cookie credit card. So we'll show you in Smart Cookies where you can find it's really called the Girl Financial Report. Like that'll show you the girl, how many packages you've assigned to her, and then any credit card sales. So we'll show you that in a little bit. Okay. Um, if you want to create your own receipt, like Gail said, again, if we're looking in the chat, these receipt books are little. So, if you want to create your own receipt, that's totally fine. Whatever works for you. We have troops who've created their own receipts. Whatever works for you, go for it. If that helps it better than our tiny little receipt books, sure, go for it. And then all your receipt books, if you need more of them, your service unit cookie manager should have them. If you didn't get your paperwork and you don't know who your service unit cookie manager is, email us and we'll help you figure that out. So you can get more. Our offices have more as well, so we can get you more. Okay, so there's another slide about the receipt book. So Gail, you can go to the next slide.
There we go.
So here's a couple questions are, how do we use the receipt book? So this is a little screenshot. The receipt book is literally that size. So when I say it's small, that's what I mean. It's small. It's like an index card. So you pretty much, if you can see on the side, it says troop number, name. You know, this is your troop number, so you don't have to write that down. You can just write the name of the Girl Scout on there because this is your troop. If you're talking about your girls. And then if you see here on the left, it says number of cases. Then the next column says number of packages. Those are each of the varieties. And so that's really when you're giving them out. So say, you know, girl A, you're giving them their 50 packages and they're getting, you know, 10 Toastiers, 10 lemonades, 10 trefoils, 10 Thin Mints, and 10 patties. You're going to rate a 10 on in where that little box is. And then you'll total it up. And then you see it says received by, and that's really where you just want the parent to sign. You want them to try to write a nice, clear signature if possible, because again, that'll help if there's any collection issues. This is also, these receipts can also be used if you're doing a troop to troop transfer. So say you're really desperate for cookies, you have a boost sale coming up, you didn't think you needed them, but you missed the truck and you reach out to another troop and they say, oh yeah, I can give you cookies. You can use this as well, and that's where at the bottom, it's kind of, that's where you're putting the receive by and the receive from. So you want to make sure you capture that troop number correctly because somebody has to put that in Smart Cookies. So usually it's the troop who's giving the cookies will put that in because they want to make sure those cookies are taken from their inventory and given to that troop. And the receiving troop, you'll just see that there's a troop to troop transfer coming in. On the little right-hand side, that's where you can just receipts the money you've collected. There's just like a total amount. You know, you just write the girl's name, the date, and you can say, you know, the mom gave you $200. You write $200 in there and you have her sign it, you sign it. And these are like two-part receipts. So you rip one off and then you have a copy that stays in the receipt book. So again, if the little tiny doesn't work for you, feel free to create your own. Definitely, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're keeping proper signatures, then that would work as well if you have a collection issue. Okay, so before we move on, I'm just checking. In the cases of two girls in one troop, do you suggest we transfer to only one girl in Smart Cookies? Families have split sales, and to family neighbors, but it looks like the girls are selling less on average with churches. So we, you know, every troop does it differently. Honestly, some troops, especially if they're in the same troop, they combine the sales because then they get higher rewards. It's really up to the family to decide how they want to do it. We always recommend that whatever the family says that girl sells is what's in Smart Cookies. But we can't police 8,500 girls who sell. And you know, I think we have like 5,000 siblings. So, you know, it's really an individual family decision. If the family's saying, you know, we have these two girls, I'd rather let's total them all up under one girl, and then the girls are going to split the higher prizes. You can totally do that. It's really an individual decision, and there's really no way for us to police that or know that. But we always recommend that each girl, it's in the system of each girl, you know, selling. Now, something to note about sisters, we are offering a sisters patch this year. So each family who has a total of 500 boxes sold, each girl who sold will get a sisters patch. So there's a form they have to fill out, and we'll remind service unit cookie managers, we'll post about this. We'll remind you guys later at another training. But if one family has two girls and she only puts all the orders under one sister, we're gonna verify. So we're gonna see that only one sister sold. So the other sister is not gonna get a patch. So, you know, definitely they want to make sure that they're, you know, if they really care about the patch, then they want to make sure all three girls or two girls have sales. Okay, next slide. So girl financial transactions. And again, once we get through our presentation, if anybody's still on and they want us to go into Smart Cookies and show you a demo, we can. But this is where you keep track of all your girl financial transactions. So outside of credit cards, because credit cards are already going to populate. So when you go to finances and you go to financial transactions, the first thing you see is a screen. Highlighted right off the bat is the troop transactions. Those you cannot really edit or add. It says add, you can't, that button won't work. Only council level people can add things. So this is where you're going to see any booth credit cards, any credit cards that come through for the entire troop. You'll see direct ship sales here. You'll see the ACH payments that happen automatically. So you can't really do anything here. But then when you click on girl transactions, so next slide, Gail. So again, that's just kind of showing you the
Sorry.
troop thing. No, I forgot I had that one. So when you click on girl transactions, so that's that first yellow square above. What'll happen is then you go down here to the bottom, you see add a girl transaction. So every time you add a girl transaction, it's going to just kind of show you in this whole database. So right here, you'll see that there's 2 already. But when now you want to add another one. So this is you want to document the money or the cash that you received from a parent. So when you click add girl transaction, this box in the middle is going to pop up. So you'll select your girl. They're all going to be there. So you just pick the one who's collecting money for. You click down and I believe it's the payment option. And then it'll give you like check, cash. It might say credit card, I'm not sure, but I know check and cash is definitely there. You put the date you collected it, you put the amount, you can put whatever you want in the reference, and then you can put notes in there too, kind of same thing, like third deposit, third payment from the mom, whatever you want to put to help, connect to your records, and then you hit save. So once you hit save, it's now going to populate on this second little box. Like now that's where you'll just see all of these transactions. So, just say something happened where you created this transaction for $220. And then you realize later the mom said, oh, wait a minute, but I got credit cards for this. And you have to give the mom $20 back. You can go in and edit. So if you look on all the way on the right-hand side, there's a little pencil over there. You can click on any of your girl financial transactions. You can click on the pencil and edit it. Or you type something wrong, you want to fix it, you put the wrong date in, or you can delete it altogether. Like say you just messed up. This screen is completely for you to track when the girl parents give you like checks or cash. And then if you see even that very last one, and again, we'll go into Smart Cookies and show you, there's a little link here to your girl balance summary report. So somebody had asked, well, how can we track like what's due? When you go to the girl balance summary report, that's going to show you the girl. So it's going to show you how many packages you've transferred to her, how many online sales she's had, how many credit cards have come in. And then if you haven't tracked any payments, it'll show a balance due. Now, if you start adding payments that the parent has given you, it'll also show and it will deduct that from what she owes you. So the people who utilize this, it's really helpful for them to track all their money and like what's due and what's been collected and what might still be due.
We're okay.
Yeah, so I think with initial order, I'm not sure, sorry, Liv, I'm not sure. You said I just meant with the initial order. I'm not sure what you meant by that. If you want to type in and clarify.
About the inventory.
So yeah, so girl transactions are added by you. Only troop leaders are in Smart Cookies. Only troop cookie managers, whoever you have designated as your troop cookie people, they are in Smart Cookies. The parents are not. So you would be the one to enter those. Every time you get a payment and you issue a receipt, you want to go in and enter those. What happens if someone gives a donation but not enough to buy a cookie share? For example, 3, if a parent A gives that to me, does that push their balance down? What happens to the 3? So, that's like a little kind of off thing, people, you can't have a chip jar out, but people will just say, here's $1, here's $3, here's $5. So it's up to you to decide. You can kind of tell the mom to hold on to that and then keep track so you can convert them at the end. Or, if she does turn that in, you can do a $3 financial transaction that you've collected that. And but the thing is that it won't go towards a full box until you're at $6. So, you can, like, again, if it's not, most people hold on to the donations until the very end and then convert them and split them up between the girls. And I like when I did it when my daughter was in the troop, we just had like a donation envelope, because usually at booth sales, people will say, keep the change, or I don't want to buy a box, here's $5, or here's $1. So we just had like especially from booths, we just had a donation envelope and we just kept putting money in there. At the end, we would have maybe $80. We would convert that all to donation cookies and then just split it between the girls. Okay. Let's see. Okay, next slide. Okay, so again, here's two really important reports these are like your two most important reports in Smart Cookies. When you go to the reports tab is the troop balance summary. That's going to show you when you run your troop balance summary, and we can show you later, that shows you everything. It shows how many cookies you've brought in as a troop, how many from the initial order, how many online sales, how many restocks, which are the planned orders. It'll show you if you've transferred any of them out to other troops. So if they've left your inventory, and then it'll show all like the credit card transactions. And then towards the very bottom shows your balance due. And then the girl balance summary, again, that is same thing. It's similar to what the troop does, but it's focused specifically on that girl. So it's just a great way, to keep track of what you've transferred to girls, and we'll show you them in a little bit.
Yikes.
Okay, so I'm just checking the thing again. So with the donation money, yes, you can convert them to our virtual cookie share cookies. Or you can, if you're doing a local donation, like say you want to do your local food bank, you can convert them to you can use cookies you might have left over to pay for those to donate to a local organization. It's totally up to you. Okay. Okay, so the ACH schedule, this is in the Troop Cookie Manager Guidebook. There's 3 pulls that we will be pulling money out. So the first one is Friday, January 26th. And as you can see, that first one is 25% of your balance due for all cookies received by January 15th. So that's essentially if you placed an initial order, because planned orders haven't happened yet, and say you haven't gotten any cookies from any troops, and your troop placed, say your initial order was 1,000 boxes of cookies, times $6, right, is $6,000. So if you were to take all 1,000 boxes and to sell them, that's the retail price. Well, 25% of that is $1,500. So we're only pulling that first pull 25% because we know you've only had 3 weeks to sell cookies. So we're only doing a portion, which 25% of $6 is $1.50. So essentially we're pulling $1.50 per box that you've collected. Second pull is on Friday, February 23rd. So it's a month later. Again, you have the whole month of February to sell. And then the final pull is Friday, March 22nd. As you can see, the dates in between, these are date deadlines to submit a collection adjustment form, which I'm going to talk about. So essentially the Monday before your pull, you want to make sure you're depositing all money you've collected so far. Usually that Thursday or Friday, the week prior, you're going to get an email from Smart Cookies telling you what your pull is going to be. Missy Branch, she triggers that. So whoever is listed in Smart Cookies as the Troop Cookie Manager, they're going to get an email saying, hey, the ACH is on Friday, January 26th. You are going to have $1,000 pulled. So it gives you kind of a heads up a week prior. But just say, Gail, you can go to the next slide. Just say that first pull happens and the first pull's coming up, but we had a blizzard or you were sick and a flu ran through your troop and you lost 2 weekends of boosts and you couldn't really sell as much as you wanted to, you can submit a collection adjustment form by that Monday prior, and you can put in a request it's the second bullet, the ACH withdrawal adjustment request. So that's basically, you fill out this form, you fill out the prompts, and Missy will get it, Missy Branch, and she'll reach out to you and, it'll say, hey, we have $800 due, but we didn't go do boosts for 2 weeks. We've been sick. We don't have the money. Missy will work with you to ask you, what do you have? Do you need a week extension? So if you come across any financial problem, you want to fill out this form and Missy Branch will work with you. You definitely want to do it so that we don't pull the money out and then you have an ACH bounce, because then you're going to get hit with a fee Our council's going to get hit with a fee, which then we're going to add to you. So you want to make sure if you're having any type of issues and you don't have the money ready for the pool, that you fill out this form by that Monday deadline. This has been an amazing form. Missy Branch has been great. Anybody, usually before each one, we get a handful of people because of, again, circumstances beyond our control. Missy works with all of them, but she can't help you if she doesn't know there's a problem. So definitely reach out, fill out the form, contact us, let us know, so that we can help you and you don't get fees on your bank and all that stuff. Other reasons you might fill this out is, say you've just had a great season and you get the prompt that, oh, we're only going to pull $500 from your account. But say you have $2,000 in there and you don't want it sitting in your account. You can fill out a request to have additional money pulled. And again, that would have to be by the deadline as well, because Missy needs to be able to edit that, and some troops, I mean, we have troops. I was at a delivery today. We had like 5 or 6 troops who came and got 300 and 400 cases of cookies to start. So they are like gun ho crazy selling troops, and they don't want that extra money sitting in their troop bank account. So if that's the case, you can request that and we can pull more out. If you have any stolen product or money, if anything like that happens, you need a police report, so that we can handle that. But, and again, once a year, I've been doing this 10 years. I get somebody who's had money stolen from a car. Somebody last year, their windshield was broken and the bank envelope was stolen. We've had products stolen from a car. Anytime that happens, you have to fill out a police report and account for what was there, what cookies were stolen and what money. And then you fill out this form and we'll work with you. Counterfeit money, we will only accept up to a $20 bill. So at booth sales, customers you don't know, do not take anything that's over $20 unless you're sure that that's not a counterfeit bill. Some people get the pens, those little pens from Staples or Amazon, to check $50 bills, $20 bills, whatever. But we get it. We get it all the time. Essentially, if you get counterfeit money, the bank's going to tell you when you deposit it that that's counterfeit, and they'll give you a form. So you fill out this form. Again, we will accept up to $20 bill. So you fill out the form and then you upload that bank paper that they gave you, and then we will deduct that $20 from your Smart Cookies account. Damages, occasionally you might get a case of cookies from a truck, that is damaged. It's a little crumpled. You might open up a case and there might be missing boxes. You can damage those out in Smart Cookies. But if you have 6 or more total boxes for the entire season, you need to fill out the form and take pictures. The form will tell you where to send them to. So we check that and we make sure. The reason we have to do that is, unfortunately, a few years ago, troops were damaging out large amounts of cookies at the end of the sale so that they didn't have to pay for them. So now we make sure that we have to do this and check to that they're actually damaged. And again, the other 3 are towards the end of the sale. If you have excess inventory, you want to fill this out. If a parent owes you money, so again, like earlier today, if a parent never pays and you never got that $300, even if the parent never paid $50, you can fill this out. If you give us all of the documentation, we will put in a credit in Smart Cookies so your troop doesn't owe that money. All right, I'm just gonna check the chat. Is there a shipping fee if someone does a direct ship donation? So if somebody gets a direct ship link and they do the cookie share, there's no fee because no cookies are being shipped to them. So we just add those all up, and at the end of the year, we donate those at the end of cookies, we donate them. So there's no fee if they want to go on and say, oh, you know what, I'll buy 2 boxes of cookies, but I'm doing it for cookie share. They won't get the cookies and they won't get charged a shipping fee. Let's see, can we do the adjustment before the 26th? So the adjustment just has to be done before that Monday. Gail, if you go back to the ACH slide, after that Monday, they submit all of the stuff I think it's back up
There it
more.
is. Okay, so I
Yeah.
went the wrong way.
So the ultimate due date is Monday, the 22nd. I would, if you get to be that week before, which is next week, Martin Luther King week, if you're looking like, oh, we're not going to be there, you can fill that form out at any time. Missy will reach out to you. But don't do it too soon because she's going to kind of wonder. She's going to be like, well, what do you mean you don't know you're going to have it like 2 weeks away? But yeah, as long as it's in by Monday, the 22nd, Missy can help you out. Let's see what's the next thing.
This is a question
The
I'm trying to
ACH
understand.
pool, yeah, so as you can see, girl delivery and booth credit card payments are deducted from your amount owed. So say we figure that 25% out and kind of remember how I said, I'm like, oh, that's $1,500. Any credit card payments that were received for girl delivery orders and booth sale credit card orders are going to come from that. So say if you have a whole lot and you had maybe $1,000, you might only owe $500. Direct ship payments are not deducted until the very end of the sale. So yeah, any credit card payments that come in, each ACH will be deducted from that. Um, it's so yeah, it's $150 per box, which is it's based off 25% of a $6 box of cookies. So if if you received all those your initial order and your initial order was 1,000 boxes, it's the 25%, the math should work, but it's really, it's 25% off your balance due. Now, something else to really remember again, is we take the proceeds into account. So if you start transferring your cookies to the girls, that's going to start creating your troop proceeds, and we take that into account as well. So now we're not looking at it as a $6 box of cookies. So sometimes that does happen to troops. They don't do their transfers and we take too much money out, and now it's the end of the sale and we owe them a lot of money back because they waited till right before the sale ended to do all their transfers. So the system is looking like it's a retail box of cookies at $6. But as long as you're doing a troop to girl transfer, you're starting to create a troop PGA. That fluctuates throughout the season as the girls sell more. So each time it's going to continually recalculate, but that's why you do want to make sure you're doing your troop to girl transfers, because that's going to deduct more money too from what's owed. So if you don't do it, if you forget to do it, we're going to take more out and then we're going to owe you a refund. This form, the collection is a link, and that's under the link section in the rally, the 2024 All Things Cookie Rally. So I'm not really sure what is called a good season, cookie season, but we can talk about that towards the end, and give you examples. So yeah, so parents, they don't have to get 50 packages. That's just a maximum that we will protect the troop from. So if a parent's only getting 25 at a time, that's totally fine. We will not protect the troop for more than $300. So that's really where that cutoff is. If you are going by packages, you want to make sure you're not giving them more than 50 at a time. Shipping fees. So we have always subsidized shipped, but this year it's going to be new. We're doing a really great shipping promotion that's going to be announced on Thursday on our social media and on Rallyhood. So that's a limited time promotion and I can't share it yet because it's a surprise. But if we have any budgeted money left over after that first promotion, we will do a second one. So look forward that on the 11th to see what the promotion is. If you have anybody who wants, shipped cookies. Is there a deadline to put cookie information for parent orders? So parents, you have to place a restock by 10 a.m. on Monday. So if your parents need more cookies, they need to tell you that by Sunday so you can figure it all out and put your order in. Can anyone going to booth receive credit card payment? Nope. So we're going to talk about booth credit cards in a minute. We have a whole slide on that.
And it's also in the digital cookie training. If somebody needs a little bit more to go over it, they can always
Yes.
look
Yep.
back
And I
through
see
that as
Gail's
well.
responded to that. Okay. So Gail's going to start talking about booths since we're caught up in the chat.
All right, great. So cookie booths. So just a quick overview of our cookie booth guidelines. Just remember that all adults that are handling the money at a cookie booth must be a registered registered for the Girl Scouts for the 2024 year, and also background checks. If they're, I'm sorry, I can't talk. If both adults are from the same household, only the adult handling the Girl Scout money must be registered. Just a reminder also that a cookie booth should be a maximum of 4 girls, and it should have 2 adults there. Juliet's and cookie crew participants must also have 2 adults in attendance at cookie booths. We always want 2 adults there so that if someone needs to go to the bathroom or something happens, so there's always someone there's always an adult at the booth and someone who can help the girls with other things. And it's just good to have 2 sets of eyes watching over the money and making sure everything's running smooth. Adults and girls assigned to a cookie booth are the only people allowed to be present. So there should not be any siblings there, friends, nobody else should be there. Product sampling can be considered at the troop volunteers' discretion, providing merchant and cookie council cookie guidelines are followed and that a girl safety remains the top priority. So, it's your discretion, just make sure it's done in a safe way. So if you choose to do that. You can also choose to do an indoor cookie booth, again, also at the volunteer's discretion. Girl Scouts are not allowed to be raising money or soliciting money for others, and therefore may not sell or promote products for other organizations at a booth. And they should always identify themselves as a Girl Scout. So they should be wearing their uniform or their membership pin. And remember also, all cookies, including the gluten-free, must be sold for $6 per pack. Oh, no, sorry, sometimes the page doesn't want to turn. Just some things to consider with booth safety. We'd encourage the use of the digital cookie credit card processing function whenever possible. That allows for contactless transactions. If you do choose to accept cash from customers, make sure that the adults are supervising. The girls can help. I mean, it's a good way to learn how to count change and things, but the adults should be supervising. And make sure that you arrange for the cash to be removed periodically from the site. You don't want to leave you don't have a lot of money out with you, and have someone accompany you to your vehicle and or to the bank. Obviously, remember to lock your car doors, hide your cookies and cash from plain sight. Unfortunately, things happen, and it has happened in the past, and you want to do everything you can to remain safe and keep your money and your cookies safe and with you. Make sure you have adequate space at the booth if you need to do any social distancing, and also that it's safe for pedestrians to walk past you. If you're out on a sidewalk, you don't want to be blocking the sidewalk so that pedestrians have to step into the parking lot to get past you. And obviously you want to be safe from cars as well. Report any suspicious people in the area. If there's any passerbyers that are harassing you or intimidating anyone, please inform the manager of the store or the location that you're at. That also includes reporting others who might try to run fundraisers alongside you. No one other than Girl Scouts should be selling during our scheduled time slots. Any business that we're selling in front of has agreed to let us sell there. Either someone from council has contacted them or the service unit booth coordinator. So we do have permission to do that, and so therefore nobody else should be there at that time. And just dress appropriately for the weather. Obviously it's winter, so make sure everybody's layered up. Hats, gloves, raincoats today. Obviously nobody's out there, but anything, just make sure that you keep all those things in mind. And some booth etiquette. Just be respectful to the surrounding businesses. Make sure you're not blocking any store entrances. Still allowing the customers for those stores to go in and out easily. Remind the girls to be polite. They practice their sales pitch in advance and be ready for interested shoppers, and just make sure they're using their good manners by saying thank you to the customers. Keep your booth area clean. The troop is responsible for removing and disposing of all trash and boxes when the sale's over. Girl Scouts always leave a place better than when they found it. Respect other troops' time. So wrap up your cookie booth about 10 minutes before your slot is over to make sure there's time for the next troop to set up. Wear your Girl Scout uniform, membership pin, or other Girl Scout branded clothing to help identify yourself. Distracted Girl Scouts can take away from opportunities on hand. So no eating, no drinking, no working on other projects, no doing your homework, no cell phones. So come up with some fun ways to keep the girls engaged. So, whoops, sorry. Just some success tips. So choose a safe location. Always good to have a first aid kit handy and water to drink. Make sure everyone in your extended network knows the time and location of your upcoming sales. You want people to know that you're going to be out there and come join, come purchase. Customers are more likely to make a purchase if they can see your goals and progress. So, your girls can create signs and things to put at their booth to help the customers see why they're selling and what their goals are. Use their creativity, make eye-catching decorations. They can also create thank you cards in advance to show customers their appreciation. So when a customer buys, they can get a thank you card to go along with their purchase. And also make sure that you let your customers know that you're participating in the Cookie Share program. They might want to purchase cookies as a donation as well as cookies for themselves. Some alternate options for cookie booths. There's a pop-up cookie booth like a lemonade stand, and those are hosted outside of a girl's home. It's usually 2 girls and 2 adults from the same family, or up to 2 adults and 2 girls. So the same family, 1 adult must be registered and background checked. The families, when they're planning to do a pop-up booth or a lemonade stand, they do need to let their leader know, and there's a form on Rallyhood called a pop-up booth agreement that will need to be completed. That form then gets sent to your service unit booth coordinator, and that just lets them know that your booth your lemonade stand is going on, so that it doesn't interfere with any booth. Maybe if you live near stores, or maybe there's someone else in your neighborhood who's planning a lemonade stand. It allows so there's no conflict and we can coordinate schedules. But a lemonade stand is not added to Smart Cookies or the GSUSA Cookie Finder, but it is still something that the service unit needs to know about. So, shipping and credit card subsidies. So Digital Cookie allows the girls to accept all credit cards as payment. Credit card payments can be accepted from any device. So you can do it from your smartphone, from a tablet, from a desktop. You don't need any kind of reader, any kind of card reader for it. GSCS-NJ is again covering all fees incurred through accepting credit cards through the Digital Cookie platform. So if there's any charge, a lot of times, we go to a restaurant or a store these days and they tell you, it's a 3% extra charge for credit cards. So if there's any fees like that, we are covering all those fees. It's not going to the customer. However, any fees occurred outside of Digital Cookie. So if a troop were to choose to use something like Square Card or Apple Pay, those fees are the troop's responsibility. So just another reason to encourage you to use Digital Cookie. And like Rebecca mentioned before, stay tuned. There is an exciting announcement coming on Thursday.
Yeah. And Gail, I'm just going to answer a couple of quick questions.
Sorry, I didn't look back there
no,
yet.
no, you're great. You're great. I've typed in a bunch of answers, but mostly bringing change. So you can do change 2 ways. You can take petty cash out from your troop bank account or use your own personal. I typically used to do about $100, especially if you had multiple booths that weekend. So I would get a lot of ones, like if you only have one booth this weekend, you can probably start with like $50, but cookies are $6. So you definitely want at least like a good $30, $40 in ones, maybe like 20 in 5s, 20 or 30 in 10s. Again, just to get yourself started with. You'll be surprised, a lot of people are going to pay with credit cards. And, we'll talk about how to do booth credit cards in a minute, but you want to have the cash just in case. And we're not at 50 cents anymore, so you don't have to worry about quarters. If you take money out of your personal account, and we'll show you on the booth tally sheet, you want to note down what you're starting with, what your change was, and then at the end, everything should line up. And then that extra money is your petty cash to give back at the end. So you just kind of want to go from there. But a lot of people will use credit cards. So you want to be prepared to take those, especially through Digital Cookie. When you get there that day, if there's any specific instructions, your booth coordinator would tell you. But unless you're the first booth sale starting, if you are the first, you should always check in with the manager and just ask, introduce yourself. Hey, we're starting selling cookies for the day. Where should we set up? Some will let troops inside, some it's outside. But if you're not the first one, usually you just go where the booth is at, where another cookie troop is at, and then you kind of start setting up next to them as they break down, and then you take over. Let's see. Recommendations on how much inventory to bring is hit or miss. You can really talk to your booth coordinator, because we don't know all of the locations. Typically, you want to stick with, if you're just not sure, you want to make sure you have your core cookies. So they're your Thin Mints, your peanut butter patties, your caramel delights. Those three are like the top core. So you want to make sure you have at least 5 cases of those. Now you're usually only at a 2-hour booth. But that's like a good rule of thumb. Your Adventurefuls, Toastiers, you could easily be good with 1 case of those. Your trefoils, your lemonades, those you might want 2 or 3 cases. And then same with peanut butter sandwiches, like 3 to 4 cases. So you can never go wrong with your core cookies. People are always going to want them. But and talk to your booth coordinator. They should know in your town, like, what are the really busy locations. Is there something that they know these locations sell more than 100 packages? But typically in 2 hours, you're going to sell anywhere between, a good booth is around 100 to 150, 200 packages. But it really does vary on where you're at in the timing. So, but what is good at this year is, as you do this, and we'll talk about the booth divider. Once you do this year, you can look back at those locations next year. You'll be able to run those reports and remember, like, oh, this was that great location. I used a lot of cookies here. So you can use that next year. But in the meantime, talk to your local service unit people and ask. Adults do not need to be CPR certified. Again, they have to be registered and background checked, because you're not camping or anything like that. You're just out, for 2 hours. And usually one of the people is like the troop cookie manager or the troop leader, but they do not have to be CPR certified. Again, we talked about setting up. Again, if there's any specific info you need from a location, your service unit booth coordinator should tell you. So our service unit treasurer said no cash withdrawals at the bank. So you can write yourself or write that person a check to withdraw, or use personal. Again, it really is varies. Some people will just use their own personal money, $40 or $50 to just start out with. But or you can write a check to cash, and you would just note on there, like, write a check to the person what parent who's going to be there, or cookie person, and say, petty cash for troop change, that type of thing. If it's troop money, again, you want to make sure you're keeping track, and we'll show you on the booth tally sheet. So then that money can get deposited back in, or held for the next booth that you might have. Booths have to be in Smart Cookies to populate into Digital Cookie so that you can take credit card payments. If a booth is not in Smart Cookies, it will not transfer over to Digital Cookie, and then you can't take it through the booth. You could do it as a regular order, but then it's going to go under a girl account, so you don't want to do it that way. So all booths should be in Smart Cookies, which then they will populate in a Digital Cookie. Your service unit booth coordinator should be uploading all of those booths. So if you have a problem with that, if you're seeing that they're like, no, I don't do that, or I don't know how to do that, let us know so we can reach out to them to give them support. But usually your service unit booth coordinator populates all of those booths that, you select from your lotteries, and then they assign them to you in Smart Cookies. Yes, and we're going to talk about how split sales between the girls who are there in a few minutes. That's all done in Smart Cookies. So all of the booth dividing, giving credit to the girls, that is all done in Smart Cookies. And yeah, I can try to show you at the end of if you had it last year, if you used the boost sale divider last year, you should be able to run that report and we can look at it at the end. So during booth sales, how does Digital Cookie know which phones are taking booth sales versus girls on their own? So we'll show you how people are supposed to use Digital Cookie to take booth sale credit card payments in a minute.
Right, that's what's coming up next, so.
And yeah, every service unit for the most part handles their own booths. And I believe all of them do a booth lottery. So it really is a individual service unit thing, but some of them are being done tonight as we speak. Troops show up to a leaders meeting, some do them online. Everyone is done a different way. So if you have questions about how your service unit is handling them, you can reach out to us and we can work with your troop your volunteer support person to address any issues you might have. But every service unit should be doing like a very highly transparent booth lottery so that it's equal and fair for everyone. Okay. So this one's me, Gail.
Yes, this is you. 'Cause
Okay.
you have a little bit better
So
grasp of this than I do.
again, Digital Cookie is very new to us, so we're all still learning, but this is the best way to take credit card payments at Boost is through the Digital Cookie app. So girls and troop leads, troop cookie managers need to set up their Digital Cookie through the computer first. So everybody has gotten their emails. If you haven't gotten it, email us or customer care. So we can help you get in Digital Cookie. But when you get that email, you have to go through like a computer or a browser first to set up your account. So you're going to, go in, you're clicking on the register now, you're doing all the steps, and we have a whole video and there's tip sheets on this. You accept the terms and agreements, you set a password. Once you're in and you've created your Digital Cookie account, now you can get into Digital Cookie through the mobile app. So we're getting a lot of questions about this. People are trying to set up their Digital Cookie on the mobile app, but they can't get on the mobile app until they have a username and password to get into the app. The app might also not go live until the 11th. So
Yeah,
somebody
that's
asked,
what I think I found out today. It's not active yet.
Yes. So there's really nothing to do in the app other than taking payments. You can, share your sales link and stuff like that. So the app isn't going live until the sale starts on Thursday. But once you set up your email and passcode, you should have no problem logging on the app on Thursday and getting in there. So once you log on, so this is the girl users, because now, you're as troop cookie managers, you're not going to be at every single booth. Some of your parents are going to be there in your place, or they'll be there with another troop leader. So your parents who are there, they're going to log on through their app and they're going to log into their girl's account. So when they first log into their girl's account, they're going to see two options. That's that top black box. They'll see their girl's name and then they'll see the troop number. So if they're at a booth sale, they want to click on the troop because now you're in troop mode. So what's going to happen is they're going to take a new cookie order. Again, the app, there's a whole mobile app tip sheet on the Rallyhood that we just shared. It's super easy to use. Again, there's only a few functions. So you'll see take a cookie order. They're going to process the cookie order. So say that the customer at the booth says, I want 5 peanut butter patties. So they'll click new cookie order. They're going to put 5 patties in there. The option, when they get to that, it's going to say give cookies to customer now. So right here, when you're in the checkout screen, you're going to say give cookies to customer now. Then you're going to say yes, sold at a booth. As long as your booth is in Smart Cookies, that booth for that day is going to populate. So that's where you'll click select booth and you want the parent to select the booth that they're currently at. So if your troop is at multiple booths that day, you want to make sure they're selecting the right booth. And then all of those orders you'll finish, you'll finish going through the prompts for the customer to pay. What's really great too about accepting a credit card, when you get to the next screen, both on the app through whether it's Apple or Samsung, they can scan the credit card and it's not taking a picture. It's just scanning it and populating all the numbers. So you don't have to, like the old app, Smart Cookies, you had to physically type in the numbers and the customer's information. You don't have to do all that. And I believe in the app too, you only have to put like the customer's name and I think email address. So it's very, very easy to take a booth credit card payment. And then when the parents sign in through the troop and they select that booth, all of those orders are going to feed into Smart Cookies for the booth. They're not going to an individual girl's account. So that's an easy way for you to see those cookies coming in through the booth and then not saying, oh, wait, I did it under my daughter's account. Like, no, you don't want them to do that. You want them to select the troop account. Okay. Yes, nothing, no links are live until the 11th. The systems don't let you do anything until the sale launches. Okay. So now the booth is over. A lot of people still like to manually assign booth cookies, but the easiest way to do this and the way that keeps records of how many cookies you sold is to use the Smart Cookies booth divider. So first thing you want to do, now you're in Smart Cookies, the booth has ended. You know you have sold 100 boxes of cookies. Like you have your tally sheet, you know what you sold. So you go into the booth screen. This is this big yellow box. You're going to go to My Reservations first because you need to pick the booth you were at. So Gail, so you select My Reservations. Now, this is showing you all of your booth reservations. So if this was your troop, you would see this troop had 11 reservations. You can either use the search bar, like type in like the store you were at, and search it that way, or you can just look at your list. And then once you find the booth you have, if you go all the way to the right-hand side, you're going to see 3 dots. That's in Smart Cookies. That's where you edit anything. You have to go to the right side and look for those 3 dots. And then a prompt's going to come up and it's going to say booth details, Smart Booth Divider, or remove reservation. So because you want to do the Smart Booth Divider, you're going to click on Smart Booth Divider. And then go to the next slide. So then this screen is going to pop up. And if you look over here on the left, it'll show you, it's going to ask you to make sure you put your booth packages in. So here's all the different varieties. So you want to make sure you put in all the packages that you sold. And this is where you really want to make sure you use a tally sheet because this is going to account for everything. So if you got cookie share donations, that's that first column. It says C share. So if you got $30 donated at the booth, well, that's 5 boxes of cookies. So you can convert that then and there and put in 5. If you again want to wait until the whole end of the season, you can. It's totally up to you. But if you want to do it at each booth, you can. So if you have enough to convert equally, you can do it now. So you're going to put in all of the cookies that you sold, and then you hit save and distribute sales. And then what's going to prompt up once you hit save and distribute sales is it's going to say select troop girls. So when you click on that, all of the girls in your troop are going to populate. So this is where you can select the girls who worked at that booth. So we have the rule that no more than 4 girls can be at a booth. So you're going to select those girls. It could be 2 girls, like 3 or 4. However, you're going to select them all and then hit continue. Next slide. And then what'll happen is if you see up here on these squares, it's telling you 13 total left to distribute. So it's going to do its best to automatically distribute as equally as possible. So in this case, that they had 168 cookies sold at the booth. With the girls that were selected, they distributed 155 equally. So now you might have to go in and it's going to tell you like what's left to distribute, and you just have to like play around with it. So if you see where this red like line, those are the 13 that's left that didn't equally get distributed. So that's where you can just play around. So you have one of the shortbread, which is trefoil now. So you can start at the top and give Faye an extra one. So you're going to turn Faye's from 2 to 3. And then once you change that, that's going to go to 0. And then you can go to the next girl, Lisa. Okay, she got 2, so you can give her 2. And then, you can go to the third girl. So you can just play around with it. And once you've got all these reds are gone and you've distributed those remaining unequal ones, then you hit save. Next slide. And then that's it. Like you'll see the 0 left to distribute. You'll see a pop up that says you've successfully distributed to the packages to the girls. So now it'll look like a troop to girl transaction. So it's giving girls credit for those cookies, but it's not adding a financial transaction because it's a booth. So the system knows that the troop leader or the cookie manager already got money for those cookies. So the parents don't owe you any money. So you'll see them when you look on the girl financial summary, you'll see that they'll be listed under booth cookies. And then you're done. Let's see, next slide. Was there anything else there?
I think that, oops, sorry, that's it.
Okay, and I'm just gonna check
Sorry.
questions. So
Yeah, there's a
again, what's
couple of
really
questions
great,
coming, but-
if you go back one, Gail, you just went too fast. Yeah. So what's really great is, again, this is going to show you when you run the reports of how many cookies you've sold at different locations. It's going to save this for next year. So now you'll have a better idea of how many cookies to bring, what varieties were really popular. Again, customers change. There's no real rhyme or reason, but this at least helps a little bit. So again, I'm just checking the chat. Would this be good if we wanted to divide a whole weekend's booth, or if a girl worked 2 shifts during one booth? So yeah, again, it's only as good as the system does. You have to do this for each booth. That it's not, you can't just do every booth. You got to do it like booth by booth by booth. So, if a girl came and worked 1 hour at your booth, and then worked another hour different, like you can manually switch it. Like once you get to this slide or the slide before, you can edit it and change it. So just say one girl did only come for an hour and the other 3 were there for 2 hours. You can manually change it to give that girl less credit because she wasn't there all 3 hours, all 2 hours. So that's this, you can still edit all this stuff by using this function. Do we get any supplies for booth display? No, you can purchase supplies in our shop. We do sell tablecloths. I mean, you really keep it low key. Our girls, the best thing we did was, you don't even need a Girl Scout tablecloth if you don't want one. You can do a regular plastic tablecloth, a green tablecloth. We always had the girls make a poster of what their goal was. If they were donating to a local, our girls always wanted to donate to the local food pantry. They decorated a box, and then we had a sign that says donate to, the Hillsborough Food Pantry, because that's where we lived at the time. So if a customer came up and said, I don't want them, but I'll make a donation, they would hand us the money, and the girls would say, okay, pick a box and put it in this box. So that was a way to get sales too. We do have like a bling your booth contest, so it's totally up to you, but you really just need a tablecloth. You need to put the cookies out, and then you need to have something to collect the money in. We do sell some aprons. We ask that the adults collect the money. They might hand the girls the money, but then we ask the girls to give it to the adult and put it in the envelope. So you have an adult holding the money, holding the change. But you really want to keep it low key. It doesn't have to be crazy. Can we do a virtual cookie booth to divide cookie share at the end of the season? So you can keep track of all your virtual cookie share, and then you don't have to do it through a booth. You can do it through the virtual cookie share option, which I can show you in Smart Cookies when we're done. Let's see. Wait, we can only have 4 girls total, the whole booth. We wanted to do 30 minutes because we have daisies. So you can only have 4 girls there at any given time. So if you have 8 daisies, you could do 4 girls the first hour, 4 girls the second hour. We have to stick by that rule. Unfortunately, booths get out of hand, and the more girls, especially daisies, I've been there, they run wild, they get excited, they jump, they yell. Then parents want to stay, and it upsets the customers and it upsets the business owners. So we have gotten to the point at our council that we can have no more than 2 adults and 4 girls. If you have a daisy mom who's like, I don't want to leave, she can go in the store, she can walk around. If she's there and not like being crazy, like that's fine. But I've gone to booths, I've gotten calls where I've had to go to a booth and there were like 8 parents sitting in camp chairs. There was a dog. There were girls running around crazy because they're excited. It just, you can't happen, because when that happens, the businesses tell the town that they won't do any more cookie booths because customers come in and complain. So the idea is you're there for a short amount of time. The girls should be at the table, politely and quietly asking customers to buy cookies, not, running wild. I mean, I had to tell somebody last year, the girls were literally running up and down a strip mall last time I saw. So You know, it's really meant to be low key, and 4 girls and 2 adults max. Um, So yeah, the girls can wear their lanyards, their pins. They can, the lanyards will have those, the price listing. So it's good for the girls to learn. It'll say like 1 box 6, 2 box 12. So they can wear that. You know, it's really up to you. There's nothing wrong with like us, you know, again, we have a lot of troops who have their own troop, banners. They hold that in front of the table. You know, the girls can make a troop banner. You know, we just, it's up to you. You know, if a customer, if a business comes out and says, hey, you know, can you, that's too much, can you take that down? Then you just say, okay, I'm sorry. Um, okay, the booth is Saturday. What should I be doing in Smart Cookies to be ready? So nothing, you should just double check. You should go in Smart Cookies, go to my reservations and make sure the booth is there before Saturday, because then that means you can take credit card orders. But there's nothing you have to do in advance, and we'll show you where the tally sheet is. Okay,
Very
so
good.
let's see. I have 2 more messages. Nope, I went past it. Let's see. No, okay, we're good. All
Okay,
right, so we're
just
going to
one
show
thing,
you
I'm
some
on a screen that
resources
doesn't
now.
follow sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Gail.
All right, so some booth resources. And all of these are available in Rallyhood. If you need any help finding them because it's your first time, let us know. But this is a Y Girl Scouts booth flyer, and it just talks about that the proceeds stay local, and explains the 5 skills that the girls are learning
Yeah.
while they're
And
participating in the cookie program.
we created this because we did go to $6 this year, and all New Jersey went to 6. So you may get some customers who are like, well, why? I can go buy these in Aldi or Walmart or ShopRite. And you know what? This gives some people, you can, you know, put this in a placard. If somebody says, well, why? Well, here's why. You know what? These proceeds are staying local. They're staying with our troop. They're staying with our council. They're benefiting all 10,000 girls in, you know, GSCSNJ. It's more than just a fundraiser. It's more than just buying a box in Aldi. Because when you buy them in Aldi, that's not supporting any Girl Scouts. That's just supporting the baker who made them. So again, this is something, if you feel like you're in an area where customers might ask you, you can just put this in like a plastic sheet just to have, you know, just to support you.
Thank you. And here's that booth tally sheet that we were talking about. So this is something that you can use at your booth to track the sales. So you can see all the different varieties of cookies are listed across the top. You want to list out in the first row the starting number of packages, so whatever you bring with you to the booth, and then use the next row down to keep a tally. So if the first customer buys, you know, 2 Adventurefuls, 2 Toasties, and 5 Thin Mints, you're going to put those tally marks, 2 in Adventurefuls, 2 in Toasties, and 5 in Thin Mints. That'll help you total it up as the sale goes along, the booth sale. Count up those tally marks and put them in the total number of packages sold, and then subtract that from what you started with to get your remaining inventory, so you know what you're bringing back with you at the end. And
And I
it
just
just
want to, sorry, Gail, I just want to add, as you still have some younger troops, but as the girls get older, you want to include them. You want to
right,
ask them, they can count. Obviously, as adults, you want to count and confirm it, but have them count. Have them start saying, hey, girls, how many Adventurefuls do we have? How many Toasties? And have them start counting. You should always, again, verify it because you want to make sure, you know, as girls get older, they could put the tally marks in. But what's really important, as long as you have the correct starting packages and then you have the correct number, you know, you add up your packages of what's left remaining, you can figure out how many number were sold. Because sometimes it does get busy. You know, you're getting pulled in different directions. You're doing credit cards. You might not tally everything. So don't always like get yourself stressed if you tally wrong. Like if you know you brought 1 case of Adventurefuls, which is 12 packages, and you're looking at 6 left, but you only see 4 tallies, you know you sold 6. Right. So that's
right.
where I like, don't stress yourself out over the tally. But as the girls get older, you know, they could work on this. They could have a clipboard and a pen and they can take turns tallying. That could be a job that you give one of the 4 girls. And they take their jobs really seriously. So you definitely want to, you know, include the girls as they continue to get older, help them count, help them, you know, again, but it may be a little crazy and chaotic. So you'll know when you can do it. But this is a great tool to let the girls do as they get older.
Definitely good for the girls, and like you said, good for you to be able to compare your starting and ending numbers, and then to take that back when you're doing that booth divider, that will help you as well. And it's available in Rallyhood. I just made myself a note just to confirm that it's there. But it should be there, and if it's not, it'll be there by tomorrow morning.
It's
So you
there. I
can,
looked at, I
okay, you
looked at
did,
it the
thank
other
you.
day.
I couldn't get to it right now, so. Yeah, so you can print it out from there, and you'll have that
Yep.
for you.
And then if you look at that very bottom, I know we were talking about like the starting money. That's a great place for you to note what you started, especially if you took it from the troop or your own personal money.
Right.
That's to remind yourself, like, okay, I brought $40 and change. So you know that what you have to give back to yourself or give back to the troop, you know, and then you want to make sure if you're not there, you're writing what girls were present. So you know when you go back to do your booth divider, you can correct them. And Gail, I just looked at this. I have to fix this and re-upload it because it does say total packages
I was
550.
just about to say that. I noticed that as well.
We forgot to change that, but we'll make sure it's fixed and we'll upload a new copy.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so cookie share, we were talking before about if, if a customer comes up and wants to buy, purchase a cookie share instead of buying cookies for themselves, or in addition to, there is a flyer that you can give them so they can see where the cookies are being donated to, and that's the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, and it's a regional food bank that distributes food to many different smaller food banks all around New Jersey. And so this gives some information to our customers. And then you can also give them the left side where it says cookie share, for your donation. It's a little thank you to give to them as a record of their donation. So a contest we have for our customers this year is a buy 5 customer contest. So all customers who purchase 5 boxes of cookies can enter to win. They'll win the winners get 2 free boxes of cookies shipped directly to them. And we'll be selecting those winners on Mondays throughout the cookie program. The product program team will be selecting them. And you can see on here, there's a QR code that they can scan in order to enter. And there's also, which says enter here, you can see the web address as well if someone doesn't want to scan. And Rebecca, is this up on Rallyhood? Did we get it up there?
I believe so. Yeah. So it's
Okay, I'm not
actually
putting it on.
a printout of 4 different, it's like 4 different squares. So when you print one out, you'll get 4. So troops can print those out, and anytime a customer buys 5 boxes, you hand them this and say, oh, if you want to enter a contest, here you go. And it should be under the contests with the contest flyer and then this little buy 5 contest
Oh, someone
coupons.
said it's there. Okay, good. Thank you. So that's just, no, it's just something fun to, for us to, for you to involve the customers in, and everybody always likes an opportunity to win something. All right, so next steps, where do you go from here? So, our upcoming trainings, we have a check-in on Thursday, the 18th. And that's just really kind of an open forum for anybody who has questions to come pop in. You don't have to stay the whole time. You can pop in, ask your question and go. It's just a quick 45 minutes, but we'll be here and be available. I'll make sure the link is the same as the link that we used tonight. We're just using that as an ongoing link. Then on January 30th, we'll do an inventory management. So partway through the program, you've already done some cookie booths, and we'll help you just go over some management. Beginning of February the 8th, we have another check-in. Then our training number 4 on February 20th, helping you get ready to wrap up the program, talking about reward selection and learning more about reports. And then our final check-in on March 5th, the last day of the cookie program. Just a last chance for you to ask questions, and we can help you wrap things up. I did send out emails this morning, like we mentioned before, that your Cookie Rookie bags are ready to be picked up. Please pick up your bags within 10 days. I did put a date within those emails. After that, our locations don't have a lot of storage space, so they will be sending the bags back to Cherry Hill if you haven't picked it up by then. If you didn't see my email, please reach out to me. In the bags, it's a little goodie bag. It has lanyards for the girls, so they can wear, we put in a sheet that they can wear, to help them with the cost of the price of, cookies, so they can tell, 1 box, 2 box, 3 boxes, how much they cost. There's pins, there's patches, there's pens, there's a lot of fun things just to kind of help you get into the excitement of, selling cookies this year. All right, do we have any additional questions? What should we? Could she sell cookies at her gym? She would have to get approval from the gym and maybe set it up as a cookie booth. But you also want to talk with your cookie booth coordinator within your service unit and make sure maybe it's not already someplace that they've contacted. Sorry, the questions are when somebody types a new one, it bounces away and sometimes it's hard for me to see them. Sorry. Transferring cookies to girls from the troop. I don't think we discussed that in training number 1. I don't recall off the top of my head right this second, but if you need help with that, time to just reach out, Tina. Let's see, sorry, I see a bunch of thank yous. Rebecca, did you have any last minute things to add?
Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to fix the, the sale tally sheet. No, that's it. I mean, we're excited. We hope your girls, if you get some pictures of your girls wearing the lanyards or wearing the buttons, please send them over to us. We hope they're excited to get that. Again, and we hope this is helpful. We're going to post this recording and we'll email this out to everybody if they weren't able, to get in there.
Just quick, I saw someone asked about sales pitches. I think for some things like that, maybe reaching out within your service unit to maybe a more experienced troop, maybe they can give you a little more help with that. That might be a better resource for something like that.
Yeah, and again, it could be like a little, I know the rally guide, if you go on the all things cookie rally under files, if you look in the rally guide, there's usually a little activity you can do that helps the girls create like a little elevator pitch or a 30-second sales pitch. So you check in there as well. How to set up your bank account. So we upload your bank accounts into Smart Cookies. So if it's not in there, Missy will be double checking again this week because we've uploaded new troops. So we'll reach out, but as long as your bank account's set up and done through council, we'll add that in there. You can't do anything with that. And that's it. Have a great night. And if you have questions